what, Bill? It's so small.
We can't hear it though.
And I need to turn off this fan.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Okay. We have some things to go over tonight again. Hello, welcome everybody. Hello?
Hey. Shirley,
Shirley, can
you get over that way? Perfect.
And this is recording too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good evening. Welcome everyone to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. We are joined by some pigeons, just so you know. So don't be fearful. Don't be scared. If you have an umbrella, that's recommended. Anyway, welcome again. We are tonight discussing a ballot initiative, which has been a culmination and a result of our previous discussions, which is leading into a vote. And so what you have in your hand, does everybody have a ballot? Can we pass the ballots out just so that everybody has that? And of course, before we start that, we're going to do our mission statement. And you are good to go. There you go. I just want to make sure everybody has this. No problem. Okay. Just make sure to hold on to this. This is important because this is what you're going to use to vote on and place your vote in the box here. So just keep a hold of this. Make sure to hold on to it. And right now we're going to go ahead with our mission statement by yours truly, Shirley.
Okay. Viva, amigos. The mission statement. Viva Learning Center is a model for cooperative homeschooling where bilingual teachers trained in constructivism, communication, guidance, and social justice issues work with skilled and talented parents and volunteers from the community, emphasizing inclusiveness and shared leadership and safety to guide the creation of a vibrant, enriched educational experience. Well written, I tell you. Extending learning from the home and into a community of eager, autonomous learners. Who wrote this? It's great.
That's awesome.
Can we do that in Spanish?
El Centro de Aprendizaje Viva es un modelo cooperativista de escuela en casa, donde maestros bilingües entrenados en la filosofía constructivista, comunicación, dirección y justicia social trabajan juntos con los padres y voluntarios hábiles y talentosos, enfatizando la integración y liderazgo compartido con el fin de guiar la creación de una rica experiencia educativa, extendiendo el aprendizaje desde el hogar hasta una comunidad de aprendices autónomos. Very well written in Spanish as well.
Okay. Also, make sure to turn your cell phones off. Now we're going to do the co-op definition.
All right, so What is a co-op? Cooperatives are autonomous associations formed and democratically directed by people who come together to meet common economic, social, and cultural needs. Founded in the principle of a participatory governance, co-ops are governed by those who use their services, their members. How does that read? Who use their services, their members. Okay. Based on the principles of empowerment, education, community, co-ops operate literally promoting participation both within their own organization and through a focus on community interaction and support.
Fair enough. That's okay. Understand?
Cooperativas son asociaciones autónomas formadas y democráticamente dirigidas por personas que se reúnen para satisfacer las necesidades económicas, sociales y culturales comunes. Fundada en el principio de gobernanza participativa, las cooperativas se rigen por lo que utilizan sus servicios sus miembros. Sobre la base de los principios de empoderamiento, educación y comunidad, las cooperativas operan a promover lateralmente participación tanto dentro de su propia organización, ya a través de un enfoque en la interacción de la comunidad y apoyo.
Okay, thank you very much. With that, we'll go ahead and read both in English and in Spanish the ballot that you have in front of you. I'm going to go ahead and read it in English first. Does everybody have a copy here? An initiative, the English is down at the bottom, an initiative providing the transfer from the current VLS, Viva Learning Space, nonprofit structure in order for the co-op to become its own nonprofit entity to be called VIVA Homeschooling Co-op and to be governed by its community elected board, and for the direct distribution of funding from Inspire charter schools to this new nonprofit entity upon the basis of student attendance for on-site financial administration in relation to management and direction of the current educational program. One vote per family, and please vote only if you have children attending the co-op. A yes vote would mean that the co-op should become its own nonprofit entity to be governed by its elected board in conjunction with the community and to allow for direct funding from Inspire charter schools. This would also grant permission to the co-op board to make decisions to facilitate the transfer to the new nonprofit entity. A no vote would mean that the co-op should remain a program of the Viva Learning Space and under the management and direction of its nonprofit. To the right, you have diagrams which kind of show the result, I think specifically in regards to finances and governance, as to what would happen if we were to transfer to a new nonprofit. I'm going to give a little time for Francisco. Do you need to give some time to go? Okay. So that is that's basically what is in front of us, and I'm going to pass the mic to Arcelia, who can give a little bit more specific times as to when the voting will occur. The voting is going to be both online and physical ballot in the box voting. Okay.
Hi, everybody. So physically, the voting is going to start in about 15 minutes here. So basically, all of the ballots are numbered. So that will be the ballot that you will be using to vote. So that's going to be until 6 o'clock. We're only opening it because we're limited in terms of having to be out of here by 6 o'clock. And then the online voting will actually take place tonight. And that will be done, I think you just register, put your name on there, Bill, is that how it works?
Yeah, there'll be a place to put your name on there. But no one will see it. I mean, it'll be attached to the ballot, but no one will see it other than whoever's on the ballot.
So no one will see it, but when you have a question?
Yeah, so when we do the paper ballots, though, so do we fold them up like sign or put the family name on the back, and so that we know that it's one vote, we know like votes are coming in, one vote for family, or how we just turning it in?
No, basically what we're doing is I'm going to be tracking it as a different list, a separate list when you put your ballot in there. And tomorrow when the voting opens, I will be there during the morning portion. And the voting opens up at 8 o'clock in the morning and it runs till 5 p.m. So you will have the opportunity to vote all day. And again, one per family.
And we've actually been talking about this this transfer for the last 2 weeks, but we are still open for questions and any dialogue on this very issue. So if there are questions about the ballot or voting procedure, if there are questions related to this ballot initiative, the floor is open right now.
Just a clarification, when it says cooperative, does that include the parents or is that just a separate group of individuals? I get right here, she's asking.
My question is, when you make a decision, use the cup or include the parents too?
Yes, and even though the co-op has an elected board, even the board is subject to and a part and parcel of the community. Am I right? I mean, so. Okay. Yeah. So the board is there to hear what you would like, whether it's your complaints or the things that you like, the things that you don't like, and they are a governing board to help do what the community wants done. Okay. All right. So, any other questions? Yes, Shirley.
No, we needed to be able to hear it on the recording.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, God, okay. I was a cheerleader. I was always like, wah! Okay, so my question might be either redundant or might not even be the right question. I know all questions are welcome. Okay, so just get me on the page. We are trying to separate VIVA from the lab. Is that right? No. And that's why I'm asking these questions. Okay, so can you?
So what this vote is about is separating or transferring the co-op into its own entity governed by its own governing group, and that will directly receive funding from the charter group Inspire. So yeah, we're the co-op, and so it would be separating from Viva Learning Space. Right now, Viva Learning Space, as you see in VLS in the schema, is the overarching management and financial group. Oh, and then underneath that, right now, is a branch for co-op and a branch for the lab. What this proposal is for the co-op to be its own branch from Inspire. Still friendly with VLS, still friendly with the lab. Some of the families even sharing in both of the groups, but led by, governed by its own board, receiving finances directly from Inspire.
So then my question is, does that mean that on a financial note, they're just separate, or does that mean we have no association at this point with the lab? Does this just separate the finances?
And governance.
And governance meaning we're not connected to them really.
The co-op
Can make that decision.
without having to ask to seek permission from the learning space.
Okay.
It means that as we go on years and years from now, our governing board
Right.
will be multiple people because
Okay.
as the co-op definition,
Give her the mic.
Right.
it's a shared governance model, and that board will always be changing along with the student body at the co-op, right? Because the 5 people on the board right now in 2025 aren't going to be the 5 people on the co-op board then. It's always going to change. It will reflect the needs of the families that are in the co-op at the time, and the programs that are desired by those homeschooling parents for their homeschooling kids. But as for, it's not like a friendship breakup. We don't have to not ever speak to people at the lab. In fact, there will be some parents who will have kids in both programs totally fine. Every child's needs will be met.
So then is this separating the finances, or is this separating the 2 entities? Okay. So if we vote no, it means we don't want that. Like, I would rather just have the finances separate and all of us continuing to be one group. That's my personal, so then I would vote no to. Why can't the finances separate? Inspire can. I don't even get my glasses.
What the no vote would do is say we're going to continue everything the way it is. So that would mean that the money that comes from Inspire that goes to VLS, which is with Lindy and Company's nonprofit. That's their nonprofit organization, VLS. That would then get funneled through them and then come to us. And then that's how it is now. The yes vote separates those finances. It gives us a direct line of financial support from Inspire and G. And it also makes a clear distinction or a separation of. It actually puts it adds another nonprofit association. So instead of going from Inspire to VLS and then going some money to lab and then some money here, it's going to go Inspire to the new nonprofit co-op association that is called here the VIVA Homeschooling Co-op. So let's just say VHC for short. So it would go from Inspire to VHC, Inspire, G, VHC. Okay, so not only are finances separated, but governance, I should say, is going to be separate too. Yes, exactly. But it is true that the intent is not to never communicate with the people at the lab. No, it's not that. Is that better? Oh,
Yeah, I mean, as I understand it, the yes vote doesn't mean anything about there being no association or interaction between the lab and the co-op. There may be just certain individuals who have children in both places. There could be other things that develop over time where some of the students come over here and some of our students go over there. Now, I'm not saying that will happen. My understanding is that's not at all ruled out by this. What this is about is, it's not about personalities, it's not about walling things off, it's not about whose school it is or anything like that. It really is about how do we govern? Do we govern ourselves as a co-op that's working entirely in its own interests, or do we operate under the VIVA Learning Space umbrella as just another unit alongside the lab? So, and then, with the funding coming to us through Inspire, as David had said, it changes how the money comes in, and it changes where the ultimate decision-making power resides. But it doesn't change anything at all about suddenly we can't have picnics with the people from the lab or whatever else it is that you may do. I mean, that's entirely up to what could develop over time. But it's like I said, this is the thing that I had stressed when I was thinking about this and talking about this last time. It's about how do we govern ourselves? Do we govern ourselves as a co-op that's in the lateral governance on the things we talked about in the mission statement that was so well written, right? Or do we continue to exist under the VIVA Learning Space umbrella as another unit alongside the lab?
Okay, and are there any other questions or discussion or comments right now? Because if not, we're going to actually open the voting starting at 5:30. Francisco?
I have a question. How will we, I guess, what are we putting in place to prevent something like this happening in the future, right? So there might be a split in terms of finances, but let's say later down the line someone else wants to start another program, and then, oh no, now we got to split that money, and now we got to do another voting on splitting. So is there anything in place to prevent this happening again?
So the short answer is no, because in this homeschooling model, the money follows the child. So anytime a group of parents could be like, well, we're out of here, and go and move in and either homeschool their child without some kind of a community like this, or getting together with other families or joining up another group that already exists. So the money follows the child. So no, there's nothing preventing it. This split is, or this vote is really a recognition that, we are a community and we want to move ahead as a community and know what the community is thinking about this. So it's, not every group would go through this exercise to do a vote, but that with our values and our shared history and that, I think, feels important and necessary for our group.
I have another question.
Okay.
Are there any plans or intentions or even the earliest thoughts, anything at all, about moving the co-op out of the church?
Well, I mean, I'd like to stay minimally through the end of the year, but this is Madeline Holler mom talking, not Madeline Holler, president of the co-op board. Of course, the board has accepted its responsibility of listening to the community and hearing what their wants and needs and concerns are. But I would like to see us stay here at least through the end of the year, just, for less disruption for the kids and for the teachers and that sort of thing. And oh, that would be great to get an update. But does anybody else have a different, want to talk about leaving because, you know, I don't want to dominate and make it my opinion.
Yeah, I personally think this is an amazing location, and I don't think it's out of the question to always keep scouting for something that might be cost less, because it is kind of expensive, but it's an amazing location, and our relationship has only been getting better with the church, in my opinion. So, yo pienso que esta locación es un lugar fantástico, maravilloso. No es mala idea siempre estar buscando un lugar que quizás nos cueste menos la renta, porque sí estamos pagando mucho, pero yo siento que a mí me encanta aquí en la iglesia y que nuestra relación con la iglesia siempre está mejorando también.
Okay, so yeah, my question was specifically about May. So I'm just making sure, the thing I've heard from all the parents I've talked to is make this as non-disruptive as possible.
Oh, yeah.
So just, are we planning on staying here through May? Is that something we can all agree on?
Yes.
Is the question. I'm not proposing we move.
No,
Absolutely.
I think that, I think everybody here, everybody that I've talked with, everybody wants to make the impact on our children as minimal as possible. I mean, you know, that's the last thing I can imagine is my little son asking me, Daddy, are we moving? Where are we going to go? And I do not want to deal with something like that. So, Francisco.
Another question that was brought up, so after this voting, will there be more clarity as to how the money is being spent from the co-op of the people? So like an example was like in the Mercadito, like they're selling every Wednesday, but they never know how much was being sold, etc. So is there a process for the parents to know?
Yes, I love a good and detailed and open financial report. So I don't anticipate doing it myself, but I've already thought of people who that's well in their skill set, and I'm anxious to get them on that. I would love to track down to the penny. I mean, like, well, let's say monthly, but like maybe if it's helpful that El Mercadito see it every week. Well, let's do a fundraising report from every week. I mean, let's just, like, whatever the need, it's not really my decision. It's like if people working on it need that, let's get it to them. Like, that's the whole job of the board, meet that need.
I'm curious, I have a question. The board has a president, a secretary, a vice president, and a treasurer. But the treasurers, that's their job to do. Okay, so that's going to be you. Okay, all right.
Her question was specific to El Mercadito, and part of the reason, you know, why we started, obviously, it was an easy extension of New City, and the idea that that was set up for like things that would come up that teachers might need, and a fund that we might have to dip into while all this other stuff was being sorted out. But currently, everything that we've made for El Mercadito is listed. I have it, I carry it. And it shows exactly what we've made. And in instances where recently, as part of the enrichment program, Esther has been asking for some materials she's needed to develop some of her programs, we have funded that. So, específicamente la pregunta fue, siempre queremos claridad como papás, ¿verdad? Entonces, se nos hizo fácil la extensión, ya que teníamos la tiendita ya, hacerla aquí, porque eso sirvió como cualquier otra cosa que se necesita, aparte de lo normal, para que hubiera fondos allá en New City. Entonces, es el mismo objetivo aquí. Generalmente, cuando ha habido cosas quizás que, por ejemplo, el programa de enriquecimiento necesita materiales, entonces de allí es donde sacamos el dinero, pero esas cuantas, digamos, las tengo anotadas y todo, digamos, está disponible en el momento que ustedes la quieran ver. Igual la claridad, ¿verdad?, para todas las finanzas también de toda la escuela. Los padres siempre tendrían acceso y transparencia a esas finanzas.
that we'll work with our Senate.
So future financial statements, working with an accountant, probably monthly, that's usually.
And the last comment off of that was, can that be shared out in these types of meetings, maybe like once a month?
Yes, of course. That should be a regular standing item.
Yes.
I have a question about the vote. How many families are eligible to vote, and how many, is it just going to be a simple majority? I'm asking because there's a very small turnout tonight, and there was very short notice on the vote. So if the 10 people here vote, is that, and that nobody else votes, I mean, that's an extreme, but then is that the decision?
I think, yes.
We will use all of our communication channels to get out information about the vote. We've been talking about this for weeks and weeks now, and you know, we'll just, you know, this is America, land of low voter turnout, so we'd like to do better, and moving forward, I would love to encourage our community to do better. We've all got meeting fatigue, so I wouldn't judge interest or passion or the ability to make a decision. I wouldn't base that on the turnout of these meetings. They're not at a great time for a lot of our community. We have narrowed them down to just the evening. We used to do morning ones that had their own robust turnout. And the voting starts tonight, but continues on until 5 o'clock tomorrow night. So there's time and for votes to come in. Yeah.
Mike?
She just said that, should I reiterate?
Sure.
She basically said that, you know, we've had a number of different ways that we've communicated with people to let them know, text, email, talking with people when they come to drop off their kids or pick them up, etc. And I think, you know, we've done our due diligence, but you know, there has just been low turnout, but we've tried to get the word out. So with that, I just want to, are there any other discussions? Any other questions?
Arcelia, I have a question. Yo soy del comité y my question is, ¿todavía el comité existe o? Porque a mí nunca habían dicho, oye Margarita, come look at this or what happened?
Yeah. Bill needs it to be on mic.
Oh, she needs to be.
Ideally, yeah, for everyone.
Y quedé como cotesorera con usted y nunca me ha dicho ni dice Margarita, I need to talk with you, the man is like that or happened like this, never. So I like more communication. Y todavía estoy ahí, I don't know. That's my question.
I'm not sure if it was a question or more of a comment. Originally, committees were set up for all the different aspects here at VIVA. So originally, she's communicating that she was part of the committee for El Mercadito, and she was co-treasurer. So she's asking if those committees are still in existence, and so that she was never contacted, and no one ever followed up with her, type of thing. And so since then, some of the committees, some that we've needed more of, like the volunteer committee, has been working hard to put that program in place. And so, so some of them dissolved, some of them are still intact, and of course, you know, we always need the support of the parents and the communication lines open. So if we can all work towards that, that would be a wonderful thing.
committees, like everything else here. Oh, no, I'm not on the mic. I know. Right.
Committees, just like everything else here, require the doing of it by everyone involved. So if anyone is sitting around waiting to be told to do something, it's never going to happen. Like, we all have to be proactive, or take it a responsibility upon ourselves to know that if we're not, that's why it's not happening. And it's not somebody else that's going to be doing it. Ever.
Yes, I mean, especially where we are right now. You just, if you have an idea or you see something that needs to be done, feel free to stand up and take over. With that, we're going to go ahead and close our discussion and open the voting on this ballot initiative, which means that you can put your vote in tonight, now, but for all practical purposes, our meeting is adjourned. There's really nothing else to talk about. It's just, I mean, this has been the third week of discussion on all of this stuff. So,
actually, wait, can we talk about Thursday and see if anyone? Can we talk about Thursday and see if anyone's got anything going on? Since we're gonna have.
Remember, Thursday is the professional development day. There's no VIVA flat.
That's right. No.
But maybe some parents are planning things, and we can kind of use, anyway, that's what he's asking about.
Right.
Do I do that informally or doing that in the survey?
Yeah.
If anybody, I mean, just any discussion because there hasn't been much.
Are you taking
from me.
it? Dropping off at your house?
Well, we're actually probably going to Santa Ana Zoo. So if other people are interested in going to the Santa Ana Zoo, let me know.
Okay.
I haven't put it all together yet, but
so Bill is going to be offering anybody who wants their kids to go to the Santa Ana Zoo on Thursday.
But they can drive right next to us, and we can all buy tickets at the same time. It can be a group effort. It can be a group thing.
He's taking his kids to the Santa Ana Zoo, and all who want to join him can. So see Bill after the meeting, okay? Yes.
Yeah, and if people want to go on Facebook and say we're going to be at the park from whatever time, or if you have something specific, you could also let Bill know, and he'd probably do a blast on text. So, yeah.
Okay.
But thanks for the Thursday thing. The teachers really appreciate the ability to be able to have their meeting and all day so they can plan the rest of the year.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Great. So with that, the meeting is adjourned, except for other informal conversation outside. We do have to leave here by 6 p.m. Okay? Thank you for coming out again. Thank you very much. Really appreciate your support.
With the Alvarez?
The chairs got hosed up, so hey, everybody, let's not force them on there. It's not going to go well. Let them do it just into the wall.
¿Tienes con qué? ¿Sí? Sí. Ya nomás vote y dígame qué número es y estamos contando. Ok, Margarita, no, nomás metan aquí. Margarita, el de ustedes es el 5, ¿me recuerdan de su nombre? María Escalante. Ok. El 12, Maritza, okay, I got you down. So is there a number, you're number 4, right?
Yes.
Okay. Japoso.